Okay, so what's up, Clubhouse? This is Building a PC, part one of mini series of going through the process of building a PC. So why do you want to build a PC? The best thing about building a PC is that you save money. You know, if you put the time into learning something, you'll always save money in the long run. So there's different types of individuals who would like to make a PC. That can include the digital artist, someone that works on 3D graphics, the Adobe Creative Suite, also many digital programs that involve creating some type of art. The gamer, whether you're into playing CSGO or League of Legends or Fortnite. Building a PC has many advantages being a gamer. And then you have what we call the tinkerer. That's someone who loves to pretty much take things apart and build them. And that's just a passion that they have. But mostly I want to focus on building a PC for a gamer because, you know, some of you all in the Clubhouse who do game, you came to me and asked me about, can I help you build a PC? So that would kind of be our main focus point. So when it comes to building a PC, what you have to remember is it's really about really 8 simple parts you got to remember. One is being the CPU, which is the computer processing unit. The other is the motherboard, the GPU, which is the graphic processing unit, the RAM, which is random access memory, the hard drive, which is your storage, your power supply, your cooling, and of course, your case. Those are 8 things you just have to remember as far as the parts of building a PC. So let's talk about one of the first things when it comes to building a PC is your motherboard. Building a PC, I like to compare a PC to a human. So basically, if you look at the motherboard is kind of like your skeleton of your PC. It's the frame. It's where you start off at when you start building your PC. Now, there's different types of motherboards out there. They're either going to be a motherboard that can either run either an Intel chip or a AMD chip. Speaking of the Intel chip and the AMD chip, those are your CPUs. So your CPU is your central processing unit. The CPU is the brain of the computer. Again, like I mentioned, there's 2 processors that you would probably use. One is Intel, the other is AMD. The next part will be the RAM, which is the random access memory. Think of it as short-term memory. The more RAM you have in your computer, the better it can run multiple apps. So let's just say you're playing your favorite game, and in the background you might have Photoshop open, or you might have Google Chrome open with multiple windows to websites. It's very important to have multiple RAMs, from 16 to probably 32 gigabytes of RAM. That way your computer can get access to those applications in the background without any hiccups. The next part of a computer I like to talk about is the graphics processing unit, which is the GPU. I like to think of the GPU as the eyes or the vision for your PC. This is something that's dedicated to the graphics, the frame rates, and if you want multiple monitors hooked up to your computer. Now the thing is, not all GPUs are created equal. If you actually put enough of your budget into your GPU, you get a very powerful one. For example, a high-end GPU could be like the Titan RTX from NVIDIA. That is like one of the high-end GPUs that pretty much costs a lot of money, but you don't really have to actually purchase this specific expensive GPU to have a good system to run your games on. the more powerful your GPU is, the better the vision is. So it's almost like putting on a pair of glasses to get your vision better. As far as your graphics your graphics resolution can increase, your frame rates. You'll have actually more frame rates coming out of your system with a high-end GPU, and you can add more monitors too. A HD to multiple 4K monitors, if you would like. Next part of the computer I want to talk about is your hard drive. Your hard drive is like your long-term memory. It is your storage. All right. There are different forms of hard drives, starting with you have the ATA, you have the SSD, which stands for solid state drive, and another solid state is a M.2 hard drive. The ATA will pretty much cost, is the least expensive out of all the hard drives. The only thing about an ATA drive, it has moving parts in it. So whenever your hard drive has moving parts in it, it does have a risk of actually crashing. And that's something you don't want, is for your hard drive to crash and lose your data. So the best thing you can do is probably upgrade to a solid state drive, which means no moving parts. So a SSD will be ideal for you to upgrade to. The difference between a SSD and M.2 is that the M.2, its physical dimensions are smaller than an SSD. So a SSD is probably the size of, if you stack 3 credit cards on top of each other, a M.2 drive is probably the size of a stick of gum. And when it comes to probably the aesthetics, as far as building your PC, a lot of times it's pretty cool when you can hide the hard drive or your storage. Now, when we have all these parts together, you're going to need a sense of power to activate them. And that's what it comes down to, is your power supply unit. Your power supply unit is pretty much like the heart of your PC. You always want to make sure you have a power supply unit that's powerful enough to give the correct wattage to your PC, because you want to make sure you have a power supply unit that's of great quality, or a computer will get hot. It's going to get hot. All that heat's coming from the CPU, all that circuitry, everything from the motherboard, the GPU can get hot also. So it's definitely important that your computer has to cool off. And the best way to cool off your computer is looking into cooling options, all right? In the beginning, you have what was called air cooling, and those are pretty much fans connected to your computer, or a stock cooling. Stock cooling is a smaller fan that you put on top of your CPU, and it helps keep your CPU cool. The problem with fans in the beginning, sometimes the noise level that comes from your PC would just be really loud. So that's when liquid cooling came into play, and it's more quieter than air cooling, and aesthetically it looks nice. The one challenge though is when it comes to, if you don't install liquid cooling correct, water circuitry doesn't mix. So you definitely want to make sure there's no type of leakage going on when you install liquid cooling to your PC. Usually it's highly recommended that you do some type of test with a couple of paper towels inside the PC, just to make sure there's no leakage anywhere. So the last part I want to talk about when it comes to the 8 parts of your PC is the PC case. PC case is like the skins you choose in a game. It's all about your taste and preference. So when it comes to that, do understand that cases come in different sizes, from a small form factor to a mini tower, mid tower, and a full tower. As you can see, small form factor can be considered mini ITX case, micro ATX case, ATX case, and EATX case. So what you see here with all the TX form factors, that's very important because when you choose your motherboard comes in different sizes. So you always want to make sure your motherboard matches your case. So that concludes this first episode overview for Build a PC. I'm definitely going to have a link and download this PDF for this quick overview for episode 1. I highly recommend that you want to get an understanding of the 8 parts of the PC before we move on to the next episodes. And even though that this video is will be uploaded to the Build a PC channel, I will also be there. You know, you're more than welcome. Just always shoot me a question about anything that wasn't clear on this video. And one last thing, just let you know, new cool content will be coming to the Watchtower soon. Everyone be safe and see you soon.